Hello YouTube, Patrick God here, and today is all about role-based authorization. Well, you know this already because you read the title and clicked on this video. Again, this was a request by you guys, and of course we will implement this. In essence, this is a part 2 of a video I already created, the JSON web token video. Check out the info card please, because then you will get the code base you need for this tutorial now. But if you already know all that, then just continue watching. I've also recorded a short recap. Yes, I already did the code part and now I'm doing the intro and the outro. Sometimes this just works better for me. Anyways, role-based authorization is the thing we're going to do today, and there's not much to tell you actually. We can in essence just start with the tutorial already, but first maybe you wanna subscribe to my YouTube channel and click at least the like button, and don't forget to also click the bell icon to get a notification as soon as I upload a new video. It does make a difference, so thank you very much for that. Also, maybe you want to subscribe to my newsletter. In that case, you would get informed about videos like this one here, and also about new upcoming online courses. And I'm also planning to create some ebooks, workbooks. Anyways, when you subscribe to the newsletter, you get some stuff, and I promise I won't spam you. At max, I write an email once a week. And apart from that, thank you so much for all the coffee. And just a side note, I added or created a Ko-fi page. If you don't know what Ko-fi is, it's in essence similar to Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee, but there you can again donate with PayPal. Not possible anymore with Buy Me a Coffee. That's really sad, but with Ko-fi, maybe you want to support me as well. I would really appreciate that. So thank you again very much. And now I stop talking about that, and I would say we start with the tutorial. All right, a quick recap first. Here you can get the base project. In essence, that's the first part where we create a registration, user registration, a login with a JSON web token. So please, if you don't have your own project and you need some base code and don't want to start all over, then well, just get this project here, check it out, clone it, and then start from there, because then I close this now. This is the project here, and it's actually really simple. What we did here is we have a user object with a username, a password hash, and a password salt. Also user DTO. By the way, if you already watched this video here, again, please check out the info card for the first part in essence. If you watched this already, then have a look at the time codes, and then you can of course just skip this and start with the actual tutorial. We have a user model, we have a user DTO. The user DTO uses the username and the password in plain text to log in and to register in essence. So we use this DTO for both. And then we've got the auth controller here. Please note that we don't save anything here persistently in a database. This is really a quick tutorial. So when the user registers, then we have this static user object here that we will then set or create with the username, password hash, password salt, and so on. And then we've got the login method. So if we do not restart the application, then we can log in with the same username and password. But if we restart the app, then of course this is not working anymore. We have to register this user every time, just for this example here. And what's happening here, well, maybe you should really look or watch this the first video. We create the token with some complicated code here. It's not that complicated, it's the way you do this. Actually, custom JSON web token authentication with .NET 6 and a web API. Maybe one thing I should tell you also here is the secret token. This is also important for this tutorial now. Here it is, my top secret key. Make sure that it just has at least 16 characters. Apart from that, it can, I think, have any character. And that's actually everything we did. So registration, logging in, and creating the JSON web token. And in here, I think we just used the default code. We haven't changed anything here. Maybe I should watch the video again, but I did not. Anyways, let's test this real quick, and then we will start with the other implementations for the authorization and the role-based doing too much Blazor lately, maybe. The role-based authentication. Okay, so this is the first part of the tutorial. Again, we can register here, just hit try it out. Maybe just leave the example here. So username and password is string. We execute, and then when we go to login, there it is. Try this out. Same username, same password. Then we got our token. And the neat thing is now we can already or also check that on the website jwt.io. That one here. And we enter it here, for instance, we get, well, the information of our code, for instance, also the expiration date and also the name. And again, the name was set here in the auth controller when we create the token. And this is also important for this tutorial now. We will add another claim. I can already tell you the role is another claim, and we will use that. All right, so far the code base we have for now, and now let's start with the role-based authentication. Well, before we can use the roles, we have to add some other stuff. Funny thing is that we can actually use this example here, the weather forecast controller, because now the app is still running. When we have a look at SwaggerUI, we can just call this thing here, hit execute, and get these random weather forecasts, right? But now, how do we prevent that? How can we say that only authenticated users should be able to make this call? Well, it's pretty easy. We just use the Authorize attribute here. And for that, I just pressed Control period on my keyboard. And then we add the using directive Microsoft ASP.NET Core Authorization. And that's it. That's it already. You can add it here, or you can add it in the controller. So add Authorize here, for instance. Authorize, not bad. Authorize. And the other way around would be if you want to save or secure your complete controller, but there is one method where you would say, okay, now you really don't have to be authenticated or authorized to call this method. Anyone can do this or see this. Then just add allow. Well, it's late again. Sun is asleep. You know the drill, right? So allow anonymous. By the way, if you don't know the drill, I have a little toddler, and I'm creating all these videos when he's asleep, and it's not much time usually, so let's do this quick. And while doing this, some errors happen, but I think that's totally normal and maybe also sometimes good to see. Anyways, allow anonymous. This is then the other case. Again, the controller is secured, but you want to allow this method to, well, be accessed by anyone. But let's undo this, and also the attribute here above the controller. So only this method now is authorized. We save this again, and to be really sure, let's restart the app manually. And now when I click try it out and execute, I get an error, actually. So I do not get what you would have expected, maybe 401 not authorized. We get a response status for 500. It's in essence an internal server error. Well, here it says invalid operation exception, no authentication scheme was specified, and so on. So you see, we have to do something here. We have to add an authentication scheme and also an authentication middleware, the one of .NET itself. And the authentication scheme now is necessary to validate the JSON Web Token in essence. And yeah, I would say we just do this. I have a script this time. Well, it's not really a script. It's just a little cheat sheet in essence, because this code cannot remember this. So I have to look this up. Okay, but this is happening in the program CS. And now what we're going to do is we write builder services add and then authentication, and then we add our scheme here. Let's close this first. This thing is called JWT bearer defaults because it's about a JWT bearer token. And then in here we say authentication scheme, and we need something here, a new package. So Microsoft ASP.NET Core Authentication JWT bearer it is. Please install this package. Yep, latest version is fine. And yes, I know we have some errors, so we will edit this now. Okay, so this is installed. That's nice. And with that now, we use another method. Actually, this was just wrong. We add the method add JWT bearer, and this thing gets some options. All right. And now the options, please stay with me. Bit tedious at times. First, the token validation parameters. These are new token, Jesus, IntelliCode, token validation. I don't know what's happening here. Token validation parameters. I really don't want to use the namespace here. I want to add it here. So new token validation parameters, and this thing now gets also some parameters, and this would be at the semicolon first, validate issuer signing key, right? Issuer signing key, that's the one. This should be set to true. And what is the issuer signing key actually? Well, again, the thing from our app settings JSON file. So new symmetric security key, and then encoding, encoding UTF-8. We need the system text namespace here, or the reference, and UTF-8. Sorry, that was the mic. UTF-8, and from there we get the bytes of our builder configuration, get section, app settings, token, and from that we want to get the value. Again, that's this thing here, right? This is the section, app settings, and from that then the token. Of course, there are other ways to save this. There is an option to user store, or you just write the key in here. I don't care. Do it the way you want to do it, right? But I think that's it's a good practice. Maybe not the best, but it's a good practice to do that or add that in the app settings. I mean, in that case, you can change the key for, I don't know, a development environment, productive environment. But again, of course, there's also the store option. Anyways, just make sure to use a key here for your JSON web tokens. All right, and then we've got validate issuer. That can be set to false, and also validate audience could also be set to false, and this should be our scheme now. And additionally, we add the authentication middleware, so app use authentication enables authentication capabilities. So do that, please, and make sure that this is above the use authorization line here. Okay, and then this should work. Let's save this and restart the app. And then, I don't know if it has been restarted already, but let's test that. Try this out, hit execute, and now that's correct. Response status is 401. So we are not authorized to make this call or get the result here. Nice. So far, so good. Now, the thing is, we have to do something here, right? And the thing we want to do is, why we're using the JSON Web Token is we want to add the token to the authentication header of the call. You can see here, this is simply creating a get call with this URI or this route, and what's missing is the authentication header. Now, when you have any kind of front end already, Blazor WebAssembly, for instance, or Angular or React or whatever, then I think you already know how to do this. You would just code it, you would write your code for the authentication header. In Angular, you're using an Inceptor, for instance. In Blazor, you're using the authentication state provider, and so on. Other option would be using something like Postman to test this call, and there you can configure the authentication header. But with SwaggerUI, you do not see an option here out of the box to add this authentication header. So we have to add something to our code again. And well, let's do that. Let's do that again in the program CS. This line now is important, add Swagger gen, and this thing now gets also some options. So with these options, then we will get a little button where we can set our authorization. It is called authorization, I think, or we give it a name. We give it we give it the name, and then we can add the authentication header. Long story short, let's just add the options here. So options, again, the curly braces, and then options, add security definition. This would be OAuth 2. And this is a new open API security scheme. I just updated Visual Studio and I do not know if this was a good idea. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Again, please, the reference. Don't like to see these long namespaces in the code, really. So yeah, I'd rather use the references on top. But anyways, this is a different topic. All right, so we've got the open API security scheme, and this now gets a description. And just for you guys, enter some text now. This would be, for instance, a standard authorization header using the bearer scheme. So this would look like that, for instance, bearer, and then wait, I have to escape this bearer, and then the token. All right. Something like that, I guess. Okay. And then the in parameter. So where should this thing be set? This would be parameter location header. And then the name is authorization. And then we need a type. And this is security scheme type API key. Okay, that's that. And then one last thing, we add options, and then we have to set an operation filter, and there is the security requirements operation filter. And to get this, we have to add a NuGet package. Don't know if it knows it. Oh yeah, nice. Already gets it. So we have to install the package swashbuckle ASP.NET Core filters, and kudos to Matt Freyer, I guess is the correct name. Freer, sorry. Kudos to Matt Freer. That's the name, Matt Freer. Please Google this guy. He created this. So great guy. I hope you installed the package now, and then no, we didn't. Now we should install it. Yeah, just stop the app. Jesus. And after the installation, maybe it now gets it. All right. Oh, I added the using directive already. Nice. All right. So we've got our security definition and the filter here, and this should do the whole trick here. We should be all set. So again, let's start the app and fix the error. Okay, there is a comma missing. Whoosh. That was hard. But it succeeded. So let's open Chrome. And there we are. And you already see something here, right? There's this beautiful little icon. And this opens now a little dialog. That's the correct name. You see our description here. That's nice, right? The name, and it's set in the header and so on. But to get the key first, we register, hit execute, and then login. Try this out, hit execute, copy this thing. And now, I'm really excited. First, let's try it without the header, right? Try it out, hit execute, doesn't work. All right, and now we set bearer, don't forget the term here, the text bearer, space, and then the actual token. All right, hit authorize and then close. We see now the lock is closed. We hit execute and we're getting our calls, weather forecasts. We can make the call and we get the weather forecast, and here you can see the authorization header. I think I said authentication header, but that's not the correct term. Let's have a look at the network tab here. Execute, header. Yeah, it's the authorization header. Sorry about that. The authorization header now, not the authentication header. There we set the token, and now we get these things back. That's nice, right? But still, there's no role in here, and you are here to see the role-based authentication. So let's do that now. And to do that, it's really, I think as almost always with software or web development, when you know it, it's easy and simple. Or it's simple, but not always easy. Authorize, and then we can set the roles like that. So for instance, we only want administrators to access this call. Save this, and now restart the app. And now you see we have to enter our token again. It's still valid, of course, so let's hit authorize. But the problem is now we do not get the weather forecast. And you can see here now the response status is 403 forbidden. Not 401 unauthorized, it's now 403 forbidden. So this really means we do not have the role. And again, here's the token, and there is no role in here. Now we can change that here when we create the token. So let's just copy this line maybe. And first let's use the role that is not allowed to get the weather forecasts. I don't know. Noob maybe. So a noob is not allowed to see the weather forecasts, but an administrator is. And with that, when we test that now, we should see a token where we actually see this role now. So let's register again, hit execute, and then log in. We have the role here, and we enter this here. We have the token here, and now we see the role noob. And when we try to get our weather forecasts, we get an unauthorized now. That's interesting. Okay, okay, this is really interesting. I did not see that before. So when you have no role, then you get a forbidden. But when you have a role, but it's not the correct one, then you get an unauthorized, sorry. Okay, nice. Why not? It's good to know that. But now let's finish this. So the user we're creating here gets the admin role. Again, let's double check. This is the necessary role here. And we, just to be really sure, restart the application. And now re-register. We try this out. Hit execute. And register the user. And now let's log in. Try it out. Hit execute. Let's check the token. We see this role now here. Admin. And now, drum roll. I know you really... Wait a sec. Ah, Jesus, I forgot to set the token. Ah, I'm so... Let me just... I really want to know this. So, as I said, these errors happen all the time. Again, the noob. We restart the app. It's restarted. It's fast, so please. That's okay. We log in. Try this out. Hit execute. Do this again. And now we set the token here. Authorize. And here now we see 403. That's what I was expecting. Okay, now everything is correct. So really, with no authorization header set, with no token, we get the 401 back. And with the token, we get the 403 if we do not have the correct role. And now we set this to admin. And restart the application. And now again, register, execute. Then we log in, hit execute. We get the token entered here. We have the role. We set it here. Hit authorize, close, and now drum roll. What do you expect? Try it out, hit execute, and we get our weather forecast. Yay! Because we're admins. Isn't that nice? And in essence, this is everything. This is how you would implement role-based authentication. And of course, I will put this to GitHub. Let me push this now. Where's the code? Here it is. Git changes. So we can also recap what we actually did. Important thing was, of course, the claim here. There it is. Let's add the claim and the create token method. Then we've got the weather forecast with just the attribute with the roles. And then we added two packages, Microsoft ASP.NET Core Authentication JWT Bearer and the Swashbuckle ASP.NET Core filters. Again, this is not really necessary if you do not want to use SwaggerUI. So, you know, just as a side note. So actually, if you just have a client and you want to use role-based authentication with .NET, really don't have to use the Swashbuckle package here. And in here now this was, of course, really important. Again, for Swagger, the Swagger Gen options configuration, but then to be able to use the token in your controllers, you have to specify this scheme and then also add the this line here, use authentication. Okay, and this is everything. Added role-based authorization. Commit all and push. All right. Yep, that's it. It was really quick actually. Doesn't take lots of time to create role-based authorization. Of course, we did the first part in another video, but still with these two videos, then you know in essence everything you need to know to create JSON Web Tokens or even register users, log them in, create JSON Web Tokens, and then use these JSON Web Tokens with a role-based authorization. And again, if you liked the video, please consider subscribing to my channel. Would really appreciate that, or at least click the like button. Maybe. Thank you very much for that. Don't forget to click the bell icon to get a notification as soon as I upload. Then there's also the newsletter. Again, maybe you want to subscribe there for new videos, upcoming videos, courses, and now maybe also ebooks, workbooks, stuff like that. And the last thing, again, thank you so much for all your donations, your coffees and Ko-fis. Check out the new link maybe. Really love you guys, means a lot to me. Thank you very much. And now again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.